Hello, darling. It's me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
I'm gonna go kill your sister. Wanna come?
It's okay to just look at the world and say why. I don't understand.
You were the only person who survived.
Boy, talk about scraping the bottom of the barrel. Woo, smells like a really ripe one.
You heard it up top. It is the 4th annual Spooktacular here on Normies Like Us. Our capper to our month-long tradition of doing horror and spooky themed episodes on this podcast, where we kind of end it with what we've been doing all month long with, of course, your hosts, Colin Ignant.
I'll be nice, a little bit backwards there. I'll be Mike Senior Pruitt.
Just Bones Joe. Just Bones.
Just Bones.
Dance. Yeah.
And I notice senior Mike Pruitt is wearing the gold robes. Those are usually only for Easter, Mike. So I'm gonna have to ask you to take those off, put on the normal ones.
I'm sure Monsignor Pruitt simply, in his confused state, must have placed them somewhere else. I'll find the green ones for the next sermon. But yeah, it's a spooky season coming to an end. I know it's November, but shut it. You know, Halloween was yesterday, and we're wrapping it up, and we have some exciting kind of info on what's to come in the coming months at the end of this. So hang in there. But this is, not going to be our magnum opus, as was the Halloween episode. Not to be confused with the Halloween episode, which is this one. It'll be just a little treat for you on the tail end of the Halloween season. So yeah, excited to talk about it. But guys, in general, before we jump into our tail end spooky thoughts, how was your October in general? Colin, how you feeling? Did you get your movies done?
I did, Mike. I got my Halloween list done. 31 movies, 31 days. Little challenge I like to do.
Nice. We'll
My
dive
issue
into
was
that.
I was out of town for some of October this year. Different than last year where we were locked up. And then I was thinking, different than the year before that, Joe, at 29, where nobody wanted to do anything. You and I just hit the bar that night. Yeah. It's kind of been 3 no fun Halloweens in a row, unfortunately, or more adult or not celebrated Halloween. So that kind of bums me out a little.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I didn't do anything on Halloween proper, but I did do some stuff obviously throughout the month and leading up to it, which we'll dive into in detail. But overall, I think a generally good October, but a lot of that has to do with my activities for the last episode, which was essentially all Michael Myers all month long, which was enjoyable. But yeah, overall, kind of weird October.
Was that, if we're doing this other challenge, and Joe will talk about him doing it too, you kind of helming this challenge of all Halloween, did you have fun with it? I know I asked you in that episode if you're glad you did it, but looking back now, you even said you're kind of a Michael Myers fan, but are you just so happy you did it?
You know what? I am. Despite the ups and downs and some of the rougher patches in the franchise, I'm really glad that I did it. And as I'll jump into when we get into the episode proper, I kind of dove back into a franchise I used to hold in higher regard. And maybe my opinions have changed a little bit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm a big fan of the series. And I've had people who just watch Halloween Kills like asking me now about the lore, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you. And it's been great to be kind of an expert on all things Halloween. Yeah.
You got a PhD in Dr. Loomis. That's right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But it's been good. Joe, how about you, though? How's your October?
October is my absolute favorite month of the year. It's my anniversary month, so my wife and I took a trip to Vegas. That was a ton of fun.
Nice.
And last year we were moving, we were getting married, so there wasn't a lot of time for spooky movies and just kind of relaxing and things like that. So it was a pretty chill October, I would say, but I enjoyed it. Colin, I think you're right. Like, it hasn't been that crazy popping, but I don't know, I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm just kind of putting my toes back in, so I was able to see some friends and watch a ton of spooky movies, though. I was excited. I got through a lot.
Nice.
You did the list as well.
I did, yeah. I clocked in at 56. That was
damn.
Wow.
That is crazy. 56. That's almost double one a day. That's amazing.
And I felt good about 12.
Quick toy corner, Joe, our toy boy on this podcast. Best spooky toy of this season. Have you gotten another good Halloween based movie monster character toy this year?
I haven't gotten anything, but there was a ton of news. So NECA, which is a company that makes a ton of great horror action figures and things like that, they did a reveal every day of the month.
Crazy.
So, there was a new Elvira action figure, all the classic movie monsters, and a ton of fun stuff there. And then Mezco, another favorite company of mine, actually the day after we dropped our Halloween episode, launched a Michael Myers figure. So if you're looking for the one, that might be the one. No,
OG?
It's Halloween 2 to celebrate the 40th
Warlock,
anniversary of Halloween 2.
It's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Oh, no. Jacob appears, which he's not here. I think he's in a coffin somewhere.
Or riding a pale horse, Mike.
Or a sandworm. I'm not sure. He's doing something weird, but he'll be back for the next episode. But that's very cool. Yeah, I've been into the Michael Myers verse. I might have to get one of those NECA figures because they do excellent, excellent work. But what do you say? Shall we dive into kind of the meat of the episode? Any other spooky viewings, readings, playings that we've kind of done through October? Jump in right now and talk the Spooktacular number 4, The Revenge, The Return in Space. Normies Like Us coming up next.
You got to have at least one in space there because everybody does it. If a leprechaun can do it, anyone can.
It's farther for him. So, really, if he can make it happen, anyone else. Use that pogo stick.
How could Michael have done it? How could Michael have gotten into space? Laurie starts working at NASA, chases her there.
No, they're building a museum on the moon, and one of the things in the museum on the moon is his house. Because you need the house. It can't just be Laurie. Because then you're only getting one of the possible timelines.
Right. We almost put it in his house. Say it in kills, but there is the new element of we know now it's not even enough that Michael chases Laurie. It's not even enough that Michael wants to go home. Specifically, he wants to look out the window in his oldest sister's bedroom.
He just likes to either look out or look in. We're not sure, but yeah, that house
would be a hell of a view of the moon, Joe.
Ponder,
Well, you know what? This is a perfect segue, and there's no reason to cut any of that. So basically. Let me bring you back. Speaking of the house, as I've been addicted to the Michael Myers verse, I told on the episode, go back and listen, folks, I feel kind of like Loomis, where I'm obsessed now with Michael Myers and the history. So I've been going around. It's all I could think about. So I've been going around, and I realized that they filmed, the 1978 movie, a lot of it in South Pasadena here in Southern California near LA. So I went and I did a little pilgrimage to some of the shooting locations.
Amazing.
I went to the Michael Myers house. It has moved locations, but it's the original house from the original film. Very cool. I walked up and, touched the door and thought, little Michael stood here. I found the hedge. I found the Laurie Strode house and sat on the little pillar with a pumpkin that the homeowners provide for you with stills of the movie to show you how to recreate the little scene. So I did a pilgrimage.
Amazing.
And it was great. And they had a museum. It was too expensive, but it's a Sugar Mint Gallery. They have a lot of Halloween themed things. The best thing they had was a screen-worn Halloween 2018 Jai Jude Courtney Michael Myers mask and jumpsuit donated by the props department. Very, very cool to see in person. So that kind of wrapped up my Halloweenness. And one thing that I realized why Michael's so great, other killers put on a mask to hide who they are, but he puts on a mask to become who he truly is, right? And that's kind of very cool.
Oh, no.
That's how I wrapped up everything after our Halloween episode. I did a pilgrimage.
And Mike, while you were there, were you in a auto jumpsuit, a mechanic's jumpsuit, or were you dressed like a little clown?
Well, actually, I had a white trench coat and a gun, and I was standing in the bushes, and I said, "Get the hell away from there!" I yelled at everybody who came by the house.
Hey, honey.
Yeah.
Did you go inside and insist to the people that you have to stare outside the window?
I said, "I just need to look out. My name's Michael. Don't ask questions." I just gotta
get up there. My name is Michael. I'll show you on the license.
Exactly. So, Michael in space, send the house up there.
Wow.
And then
that sounds amazing. I'm very jealous. Now,
very
Mike,
cool.
If you had gone to Pasadena High School just up the street, that is the Back to the Future school as well. So, that street is just loaded.
Yeah, and then I guess a couple miles away in Alhambra has a high school or an elementary school. That's where little Tommy Doyle smashes his pumpkin after he gets bullied, and Michael kind of follows him. So not to extend the Halloween episode, go back and listen, Normies, but it was a great little thing. But that's it for my first up. Colin, kick it off. What other kind of spookies do you get up to?
Joe mentioned My Beloved Ladies, so I will say this. It was kind of the year of Elvira. We hit the 60th anniversary. I'm sorry, 40th anniversary. She just turned 70 years old. Cassandra Peterson, the person who plays Elvira. She came out of the closet. She appeared on The Goldbergs. She wrote a memoir, Yours Cruelly, Elvira. And I
Great
just
title.
could not be more excited and happy for her. She's the greatest. Shudder, Joe's beloved Shudder, did special episodes with her. She had the Netflix and Chills, I believe, was the name of the thing she did for them.
That's incredible.
And an ongoing TV cable thing on the Comet channel, which is one of those weird offshoots where you go to like 49-6 and you're like, what is this channel?
There's even an
I just can't
Elvira
believe it.
hub on Peacock. So
Wow.
Wow.
if you go to Peacock, there's a hub for the Mistress of the Dark.
Hey,
Really incredible.
who would have guessed? The Mystery Science Theater guys, they tried to come back a few years ago. It didn't work, but God bless Cassandra Peterson. She's the best.
Yeah, I mean,
That was the movie that kicked off my October was Elvira.
Mistress of the Dark, the first?
Yep. Mistress of the Dark
Wow.
was our first October 1st watch. So
oh, that's incredible. Yeah, I think I've not seen any of the Elvira movies, but I've seen the special TVs and stuff like that. She's obviously an icon, very cool. And I do want to have you guys, maybe it's a long list of 31, but I do want to hear what else you guys watched. And Shudder, I think, has saturated at least all my YouTube advertisements over the past month as well. So they are doing cool stuff. And yeah, they brought Elvira back. It's very exciting to see. And so the Shudder man himself, Joe, you've always pushing this service. It's a great thing. What do you think?
I even want to ask and say, were there any Shudder originals or something that you really nailed at and loved this year, Joe?
I had torn through a lot of those. There are two to mention. One was Superhost, I think was the name of it, but it's about an Airbnb host who's a little out there, and a couple who has like a struggling YouTube channel where they review Airbnbs come and like air their grievances about the relationship and almost get murdered. So that one wasn't too bad, but the real one to talk about is VHS 1994, the latest VHS movie, which man, I gotta be honest, I thought it was a little bit of a letdown. Like, I think all of the streaming movies this year were a little bit of a letdown for me. Paranormal Activity, Halloween, and this. But the most interesting thing about it, and there are definitely segments that I really enjoyed. One of them takes place in the town in Ohio where my parents live. By name, it is called that.
That's very cool.
Out of this world,
As opposed to a fictional town like Haddonfield. I know that Shudder, they're saying though, like a lot of those originals are like, they said like 4 out of the top 5 2021 horror movies were Shudder originals, and like 7 out of the top 10. Like, so they are apparently crushing it. And
I mean, that's the thing is, like, you ask if I watched any in October. I usually watch them right when they drop. So like I don't have them any built up. I did rewatch as part of my 56 Host, which is I think one of the best movies of 2020. It handled how to make a movie in the pandemic really well. It's just about a virtual seance. So if you haven't checked out Host, it's less than an hour and a half, all killer, no filler. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. And on the streaming note, there's some stuff that we also watched out of season. We did a Malignant episode. Obviously, go backwards and listen to that if you haven't. And then, I think we all kind of enjoyed the Fear Street series overall. Like, I think 1666 was my favorite, but that was pretty good. But that was watched out of season for technically this. But definitely cool streaming.
Yeah, but new stuff, Mike. Antlers is in theaters. You can't get it streaming or whatever. You watched Halloween Kills, obviously. We did as well. Joe, I'm super excited to talk about Paranormal Activity. The big streaming new releases. Otherwise, you have like Shudder specific things, or like Netflix going like Night Books, and you're like, "What's Night Books?" And somebody goes, "I don't know. It's for kids or something. Like, check it out, watch it or whatever."
Either is or is
weren't
not for
big
children.
things. I'll say, I think the winner was the stuff out of October. I have had more people. I just said I was out of town. At this wedding I was at, people would walk up and be like, "Hey, you like movies, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I like movies." They go, "Have you seen this one called Malignant?" I'd be like, "Yeah."
Boy,
Like,
have I.
I just want to talk to you about that for a minute. I'd say, "Why?" And they'd say, "Well, I've just never seen anything like it." Or I'll say, just content-wise, we loved Fear Street so much. I still think top of the list just of getting people to talk about what you made after it got done too. Fear Street, baby, and Malignant. So I'm glad you brought those both up.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like, there's other movies that I haven't been able to see. Like A24 has Lamb that I have interest in, but I didn't get to watch it. And it looks very weird. Last Night in Soho just came out. It's kind of a thriller, not quite horror.
Right.
Big Edgar Wright fan. But another new streaming thing I did watch was Midnight Mass. Did you guys watch this at all, Colin, Joe? Did you? So have we finished it?
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Rec from Joe. Only reason I watched it, and then Mike started texting. He was watching it too. I was like, dude, get ready.
People
so
started
I'm very glad we all caught
recommending, yeah, any maybe light spoilers or full spoilers, close your ears. But like, what do you think? I really liked it. We don't have to dive a full episode on it, but I like this show that, spoiler time, surprise vampire show, but also it's about faith and what is a church? Is it the building? Is it the community? What's, religion? And, I like the themes. Maybe it's because I went to a Catholic school growing up and it was like, yes, I know these people.
See, so there you go. It might be required that you went to Catholic school at some point to really get the
to get it.
The sad boy energy out of Midnight Mass. But yeah, I absolutely adored it, man. It's one of my favorite limited series.
It might be my favorite Mike Flanagan limited series out of Hill House and the Bly Manor stuff. I really, really liked it.
It's the only one I watched. So like, I feel like I've never seen the other two Haunting
Gotta
shows.
see the others.
I've seen all of his feature work, but I haven't gotten
I've seen
into
none of
shows
his
before
feature
this.
work, but only the shows. So maybe we should
You're
switch
only
sides
TV
there. I'll
boy.
watch the features.
There we go.
Yeah.
What's amazing is, and we were just talking about the success of, you could say R.L. Stine's truly the winner of this October season, but maybe even Mike Flanagan more from the fact of last year when we did our third Spooktacular, we wrote in just a part to talk about ghosts because we all wanted to talk about Bly Manor so much, even though you hadn't seen it, Joe, Jacob, Mike, and I. That here we are a year later, this asshole's just writing something new and original, and it's also a great Halloween thing to consume.
It's very Stephen King. It's very slow, but he did Dr. Sleep, right? So he kind of is familiar with that speed, which I haven't seen and I need to. It's probably a sin, but yeah,
It's just so well written. Like, the episodes flow together so well. We watched it in like 1.5 sittings, like we were glued to the screen on this one.
I can see that.
it was the thing where I had other stuff to do, so it was like constantly on my phone. Like I'm washing the dishes, watching it. I'm in the bathroom watching it. Like anything I'm doing, like I can't turn it off until I finish it. I just burned all the way. So that was a good one. So I think top 3 for this so far is R.L. Stine, Flanagan, and the Muppets so far. The strongest.
There you go.
Halloween.
Look, they're doing Halloween right.
Yes.
I mean, like obviously, I'm not going to run through all like 56 movies that I consume.
That's impressive. Though.
Well, it has like some of the Scooby-Doo Claus movies in there, right? So you got like Scooby-Doo, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, Halloween Town, Hocus Pocus, movies like that too. But I think we did a really good job, like balancing really spooky, fun spooky, things like Van Helsing. You got to throw like some really bad ones in there. We watched Separation, which came out in 2021 and is already on Peacock. Just awful. And like I hit all the masters, right? So I had a Wes Craven, a John Carpenter, a Freddy, a Jason, a Chucky, an Ash.
Nice.
Like even James Wan got rep. So I was really happy with everything I made it through.
Nice. Yeah, I got all of the classic masters, the new school. And that's really rad. Maybe if you have a list, we can post it in the comments, either on the YouTube video or the thing. And if people are curious about the 56 and Colin's 31.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what highlights are on your 31, Colin, that we haven't really touched on yet?
It was a big, Joe's talking the Masters year. I was also following along on another podcast, Blank Check, which covers tours as voted on by audiences. John Carpenter happened to be the person they were going with this entire season, so it seemed like the perfect time to just rewatch all John Carpenter movies. Doing The Thing, doing the sequel thing to The Thing, whatever that thing is.
The other thing,
Doing the Fog remake, doing those things where you're like, how does this even exist? Tom Welling Superman is the star of this movie. What year is this?
That's awesome.
I'll say though, on Masters, did you guys watch? Those dumb Netflix, the movies that made us.
Yeah,
those kind of documentaries. I like those. I think we brought them up in the He-Man episode because they have that great "The Toys That Made Us" episode.
Yes.
But sometimes I find those obnoxious with the voiceover. They had a killer season this year of Nightmare, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Aliens. Where you're just like, God damn! And for 45-minute chunks, I mean, it is really good stories. So I recommend those two.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really kind of savvy to the film biz, some of it might be a little redundant, but it's still a fun watch, and I like the bad jokes that they throw into the narrating. So, but the subject matter, for this time of year, it was great to I'm in the thick of Halloween. Here's a behind the scenes that Netflix did. It was awesome to kind of come across that.
Really?
Yeah. Joe, I want to also say, you mentioned you watched a Chucky movie. I watched the 2 free episodes of the Chucky series. Did you guys check this out at all?
Really? No,
I want to. I can't wait.
It's fun, actually. I've never
Really?
been a Chucky fan. Yeah, it's like the kid, a teenager finds him at a garage sale, and then people are bullying him, and then Chucky is kind of taking out the bullies. So it's like this weird, I'm your only friend, but it's like, but you're killing people. It's like, well, fuck them. It's very
interesting.
strange.
That's semi the plot of the remake, but this series is the original team back at it again, and how they wanted to keep the story going. So it's interesting. They had kind of a similar idea there.
Yeah, and it's very teen focused, which is kind of something different from what I had been watching. It's like it deals with kind of growing up and do I fit in, but then you have a killer doll on your side or not, depending on how you look at it.
Leroy.
Yeah.
Chucky.
So that was kind of fun. And then another thing I revisited was I always talked about how I like Texas Chainsaw more than Halloween.
Oh, yes.
I watched 1 and 2 again. Obviously, very different movies. One is, very macabre and in your face. Not a lot of blood, similar to the original Halloween, and it did come before that. So you can kind of say Texas Chainsaw, then Halloween. Now slashers are everywhere. But a very different movie. The second one's definitely a comedy. And without seeing, I've seen the remake, but I haven't seen every Texas Chainsaw movie. I can definitely definitively say Halloween franchise as a whole is stronger than the Texas Chainsaw franchise as a whole. And the original Halloween is better than the original Texas Chainsaw, as much as I like that movie.
You're just mad because there's never a scene where Chop Top, Leatherface's brother, prays to Samaway, the god of Halloween.
Samaway
I'll tell you what he's really mad about. You don't see him drive enough. He needs to get in the car and go.
He doesn't, and that's the biggest problem with David Gordon Green. Get him in a car. Cowards. Anyway, but it was interesting to go back in very different kind of movies. So.
I'm sorry to hear that, though.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's just, there's not the diversity. Some of them are, I would say that we said it in the Halloween episode, fun but dumb. Does that? I don't think Texas Chainsaw ever gets fun but dumb. I think there's just the one with Matthew McConaughey where you're like, what's going on in this?
2 is fun but dumb because there's a chainsaw sword fight with Dennis Hopper and Leatherface. So
amazing.
That one's good. But
the franchise is a little too short-lived in its sequels before rebooting to get to that status.
That is what it is.
Because to get to that status, you need to have a couple under your belt.
History.
And as far as iconic horror characters, Leatherface definitely feels lacking for substance after all of this Michael, where he's kind of just mentally challenged, and the real villain is the father who kind of bullies him into doing this stuff. He's really, in the end of the day, not as interesting as the Devil's Eyes and getting shot 6 times. As much as I love Leatherface.
Yeah, again, Mike, he falls into my Jason side, where maybe it's the sweet disabled boys where I go, I understand why they're doing this, opposed to the pedophiles that haunt nightmares, where again, I just go, you're so unlikable.
Or
get out of here.
Soulless murderer who won't die. Yeah. So,
well, speaking of all the different slasher icons, I read a book called the Final Girl Support Club.
Oh.
And, it was really interesting. It's being adapted into a feature now. And the premise is that in that universe, all of the mainstream slasher movies are based on real events.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have Ghostface from Scream, but you have Ghost from Stab. And, you have the different, the Dream King, not Freddy.
Yeah.
So all of the final girls...
Legally distinct characters, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so all the final girls
My
from
shirt's
those monsters,
bastard.
it's basically they have a support group, and then a mystery unfolds, and definitely it's got Scream vibes to it. So if you're looking for spooky book, I recommend checking it out.
That's supposed to be really good. right? Got amazing reviews. So that's very
Yeah.
cool that you read that. I want to check that out.
And then on the back of the best girl topic, we forgot to mention in Halloween, is Laurie Strode best girl of horror? Who is, and if not, who do you nominate? I think Laurie Strode at the end of H2O is best girl, but later movies seem to try to take that away from her.
I would absolutely agree with you there, Mike. I would say she reaches the zenith at that point if you did, because everyone else, Friday the 13th, they never last, and then Nancy from Dream Master, as we just learned, he's got Dream King, whatever he's called, only comes back for the meta one, which is
she comes back for the metal one, so she's a real life final girl.
Nuts.
Yeah,
even Texas Chainsaw is just a one-off for that character. It's always just kind of one-off. So, yeah.
Well, it's Ripley, right? I mean, you know, not to jump franchises, but it's Ripley. Ripley's better than Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor.
Does Ripley count though? Because I would argue that Alien is a horror movie. Aliens is an action movie, and she's an action star in it.
Then Aliens is like a religious movie.
Well, if you just look at horror movies, then Ripley is the only final girl to defeat the threat in the end of her movie. So, yes, like permanently, right? The alien's dead after that, right? So
it's true. Yeah.
Again,
Laurie just survives. Yeah, depending. So I don't know, but there's an argument to be made. But good job, Jamie Lee Curtis. At least the daughter of Psycho. You know, it's like, come on, it's horror royalty. So that's all I want to note there. Other things I didn't finish, you know, obviously I started Squid Game. Maybe that'll come around later, but that was kind of my October. I do note, though, that Squid Game in one episode has a higher kill count than like Jason and Michael combined, even after Halloween Kills. So
I just watched that one episode because maybe we are going to talk about it in the future. And I thought, oh, well, you know, everybody's talking about this. I'll check it out. I was shocked by that kill count, Mike.
I was like, there's a lot of characters in this. So anyway, yeah, we'll see where that goes. I haven't finished it yet, but I saw a lot of Squid Game costumes around this year. Didn't dress up, but any other spooks you want to mention before we get on out to final thoughts for Halloween and mention what's upcoming in the next months?
Colin, I had a John Carpenter first time watch in my list. Body Bags. Have you ever seen Body Bags?
Oh, very short-lived pilot attempt. Yes, where the best one, of course, is Stacy Keach growing all the hair.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. Mark Hamill's in it. John Carpenter plays a crypt keeper type character, the coroner. So if you're a horror fan, it's worth a watch, man. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was trying to pitch like a Crypt Keeper kind of anthology show. Yeah, very cool.
Bummer. Yeah. I'll say real quick, we just, you know, because it's our franchise, Joe, we got to say, on the new Paranormal Activity, you know, Mike, do you care? Yeah. You don't give a shit about Next of Kin, the Amish.
I assume there's a spooky house with spooky happenings going on.
Well,
if a cabinet doesn't slam.
You would think that.
That's what you would be thinking you're signing up for. You would be
by that.
So,
now, let me just say this real quick. Midsommar must have just messed with executives' minds, where they're like, "Why did this work?
No idea what to do.
Surely we can do it too." And you know, The Witch. You know, you also have these other like weird period horror movies. I liked the twist, Joe. I just did not like any of the rule breaking stuff. They introduced slow mo as a filmmaking technique.
It's all. Here's the problem. Like, really, not to dwell on it, but like when you sign up for a Paranormal Activity movie, you're signing up for someone who is going to be filming activity themselves that is happening to them, and there are going to be spooks and scares with nothing on the screen. That is the style of movie. That is what a Paranormal Activity movie. That is what I expect to see. The same way if I see a Freddy movie, I expect to see Freddy fucking Krueger. Like, I feel like with this movie, I feel like how people who hate Season of the Witch must have felt. Because it's just like a fine story, I guess. Yeah. It could have been an interesting movie. Not a Paranormal Activity movie at all.
No, Mike, they do the, it's like, what if it was a produced Netflix documentary on something? And you're like, well, no, like Joe said, these are all found footage horror movies. And they're like, but it's not.
No, there's drone footage, it's cut to music. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
You know, Michael hates drones.
Yeah, and also like it's a Paranormal Activity movie. Things ain't gonna go well by the end, and they at least stick true to that part. But then who edited this movie? This isn't just like found
Amish.
tapes or found footage. It is like when someone on Rumspringa was like, "I'm going to take this to Netflix." Like,
He wants to be a filmmaker. Yeah, try it out. On the back of that concept, this will tie into kind of a couple of just video games short mentions here. The best version of that. Have you guys ever heard of the Fatal Frame series?
No.
So it's Japanese survival horror games, and the premise is essentially you're in spooky old Japanese haunted houses, but you have a camera that allows you to see the ghosts, and the only way to stop them is to point the camera at them and take a photo, and it'll capture their spirit. So you have to look at what is the scary thing through the camera in your field of view. So just do that with a video camera. You have a video camera, that's the only way you can see the ghost, and that's how you identify.
To Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension, which was the movie before this one.
Well, then cut all this out, Mike.
5. No, it's perfect.
But anyway, I like the idea of Fatal Frame. Like, you have to look through a camera, you have to face your fear. It feels like paranormal, like kind of vibes. But yeah, other than that, there's nothing going on. There's rumors of a Resident Evil 3 update that'll add content, and Resident Evil 4 came out in VR, and they're going to remake that. Otherwise, Big Mama's House, still going strong. Resident Evil Village, go play it if you haven't. But that's my spooky wrap up. Anything else before we get on to final thoughts? Final Destination?
I watched one of those.
Hey.
I played the Friday the 13th game, which is one I like drag out every once
the original
in a blue moon. No, the survival, the horror game. It's Dead by Daylight, but it's it was a lot of fun.
Well, it has all the versions of Jason, right?
Yeah,
like it's very fun.
Yeah.
They all have slightly different powers. Yeah, I think that's a pretty well done idea, actually.
It was. Some streams. The whole time I was playing it, all I could think was like, oh, next year we're getting this with Ash because the Evil Dead video game is coming. So cannot wait for that one.
And we're about to get this. Now, Mike, do you know about this? Joe and I texted about this a bit. This sort of, they left 4 Dead, these developers, and created this game Back 4 Blood that I'm kind of following pretty closely too. I would love to see that game succeed and be good.
It's the spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead series, which Valve doesn't make video games anymore. So they're like, fuck it, we'll just go do Back 4 Blood.
We just have to steal your idea for a video game.
Our own idea, yeah. We have to steal it. So yeah, some interesting stuff on the horizon. We'll see about the Resident Evil 4 remake in the future. But yeah, that Friday the 13th game, I want that with Michael. Give me all the weird mask versions. And they can drive. Some of them can drive.
I mean, I think that is that Dead by Daylight game or Death by Daylight.
Yeah, but you can't play as the Man in Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can blow up police stations. Yeah. That's his one power. Yeah.
One
very
done.
Cool. That's right. Thorn trilogy, best trilogy. Not true.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight, and evil dies tonight. Yes. So, all right, we've killed evil. It's jumped out the window of the hospital. That was definitely Michael Myers. Let's wrap up this Spooktacular with our final thoughts on Halloween and a sneak preview of what's to come. Coming up next on Normies Like Us.
We're back. We just got done burying Jacob and carving up these jack-o'-lanterns and finishing up talking our Halloween Spooktacular here on Normies Like Us, the 4th annual. We're talking all things horror. I love all the ghosts and ghouls. I want to see that list. I want to see Joe's list. I'm excited to see that on the socials. That's the main thing for me. I did see a couple that we cross-compared on your letterbox, I think. So I thought, oh, yeah, we're kind of
pretty sure it's all updated now. So, yeah, you can go check it out there.
I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, I got to get the old letterbox app. Again, my Halloween, mostly about Michael Myers. I am Dr. Loomis. I'm obsessed with that franchise, and he needs to drive more. That's why Halloween 5 is the best, because he tries to kill with a car. And
did you see? Did you see any of this stuff? Jamie Lee Curtis gave these quotes about Halloween 8, Lords of Death, the canceled movie instead of H2O, or is that right? Or instead of Resurrections? Which would it be?
5, 6 is the Curse of Michael Myers. 7 is H2O. 8.
Oh, so
is the
Resurrection.
That would have ended with him being unmasked, and it's revealed that she did decapitate him in H2O. It's her still doing the killings as Michael. She's lost her mind.
Whoa. Interesting. We'll never get an ending to this series. Maybe in Halloween Ends, we never get anything. We thought we had it. They keep screwing us over. But
Yeah.
yeah, what can you do?
Evil might die, but the show goes on, right?
That's right.
Look, final thoughts on spooky season. There's 364 days till spooky season. I love spooky season. It's the best season. I can't wait for it to come back.
Yeah.
Is it? Let me ask on that point to my two fellas here. Is that the hardest transition of the year? October 31st to November 1? Is it, Christmas to January? Is it what is it? I think this is a hard one.
Yeah, I think it's probably this time. We've kept our decorations up. We're gonna let them ride for the week, and then we're gonna go right to Christmas. Just cut the middleman out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people do. I mean, some people consider just November, it's Christmas, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's that's if you're that kind of person, that's a hard take. You're just going to have to throw in
Or veterans.
Yeah,
No,
right.
No, see, all you got to do is you got to take, you got to have a good transition movie. You need yourself a Gremlins, A Nightmare Before
Santa
Christmas,
Claus.
something like that. Santa Claus, Black Christmas.
Yes.
Any one of those that
An
kind
inspiration
of
for Halloween.
segues you.
Yeah.
Jack Frost.
The J shot.
Both types of Jack Frost, even the Michael Keaton one.
That's what I thought of. Yeah,
Extra that one, dog. He's playing Bruce Springsteen, basically.
yeah. Hockey Bruce Springsteen, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays the harmonica, jams in a band, and looks like he has no responsibilities ever, and talks in riddles. That's Bruce Springsteen to me, ma'am.
Yeah, he probably knows a couple turnpikes around Jersey.
Yeah, I bet it.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, so evil does die tonight. And while we're talking evil dying tonight and some of the greatest evils during spooky season, there's one evil that still reigns supreme, and that is Sauron himself and his armies of Mordor. So what is coming up next, guys? It is going to be the Lords of November and an unexpected December. That's right. We're going to cover all of the Lord of the Rings movies and all of the Hobbit movies. Maybe there'll be time for an extra. Get ready.
We'll be learning Elvish. Now,
Yes.
normal listeners, our Normie Normies, know that when we get up to the holiday season, we usually tackle a big franchise and hit every part of it. We did it with Star Wars to start. We've done Harry Potter as well. Obviously, you got to throw the Transformer films.
We just
in
did
there.
that to ourselves.
We're talking about the best things that have ever been made. So yes, we are doing J.R.R. Tolkien's masterpieces, and maybe we'll try to get some cool guests, But otherwise, we'll cover it like we always do. And I just could not be more excited.
It's something very telling about our show and our priorities when we give 5 individual episodes to Transformers, yet 1 episode to all of Halloween. Because, Transformers deserves it.
We're gonna
12.
rectify that. We're gonna rectify that. at
12
some point.
in.
Yeah, we'll fit 12 into one. 5? No, we got to split that shit up. Man.
5? Oh, I gotta break down Bumblebee.
Yeah, what about Second Breakfast?
Oh,
So
cannot wait.
stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun and, a little bit different. It looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. So.
Ooh.
But yeah, I guess that'll be it. Socials, yeah? Follow
Yes.
us. Do that.
Check us out at Normies_like_us. Hit us with a rate, review, subscribe, a little comment, saying Spooktober was so great for me. I watched 100 movies, and we'll say, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
But you
Show me
can.
your list.
It was there.
Prove
And
it.
follow us on YouTube, too, because that helps out, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see the video version. And I'm glad this is the 4th year of the Spooktacular. There's only 3 of us here this time. Hopefully the numbers don't continue to dwindle and we all get got. But we'll be back. But yeah, that's it for us this time. Thanks for listening along.
We've been your hosts, Spooktacular Colin.
Monsignor Mike Pruitt.
Jolly Joe, we're going to the next season. Hop on board.
Jingle bells.
Nice. All right. Catch you next time, Normies. Look out behind you.